so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat once again. Welcome back to the Chaos Protocol. No matter if you're tuning in for the first or 1,000th time here on Transplanar RPG, we are an odd transgender, people of color led, dark fantasy, actual play, tabletop role-playing game channel telling stories set in an original non-colonial anti-orientalist multiverse. This means we stand against genocide and ethnic cleansing and support all oppressed peoples of this world struggling against injustice, imperialism, and colonization. We must use our voices to build solidarity and fight for the world we wish to see. So to that end, free Sudan, free DRC, free Palestine, abolish ICE, and free all oppressed peoples of this world. Thank you all so much for showing up to support our story. If you're watching this right now in this moment, you are seeing the live recordings of Arc 3 episodes 25 and 26 on Twitch or on YouTube. There are only 3 more streams of chaos after tonight's episode, so buckle up. It's gonna be a wild ride from here all the way to the grand finale. So before we get started, please do allow me to reintroduce our fantabulous cast for the evening, starting with our incredible guest for this arc.
Hello everyone, my name is Hamna, I use any and all pronouns, and I am playing Rhododendron Takrar, who uses they, Ray pronouns, and I am very excited to kill Tavash Lanius. Yeah. Okay, and with that I'm going to pass things over to Val.
Doom! Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he and his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Alto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I had the distinct pleasure of playing your Doom boy Sayer, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm gonna pass it on over to Dad.
Hi, I'm Kai. I'm mad at Val now. I use he, they, and she pronouns. And I am back playing Mr. Zanin-ish, who uses he, him pronouns. And I'm gonna pass it on over to his daughter.
Hi, I'm his daughter. I'm Samstar. I use she, they, and the occasional they pronouns. And tonight, I get the pleasure of playing his beloved daughter, Lumira, who uses she, her pronouns. What's going on, boss?
It's a big boss. Lots going on. So to start off announcements for the evening, a big ol' thank you to our major sponsors for Arc 3, Explain Trade, Hero Forge, and Frivolous Bear Studios. Hero Forge brings us these incredible color statuettes, which I've been talking about all arc. You already know what's up with them, but I'm just gonna bust them out for the 4th to last time for this arc. So let's get those clicks in, y'all. Go to bit.ly/transforge, capital T, capital F, just to check out what they have in store, design your own custom miniature, and you don't even have to buy anything. Just clicking on that link or typing it in honestly just helps us. It really, really, really does. And we love you and we thank you, Hero Forge. Additionally, our very good friend and podcast editor, Marissa Ewing of Hemlock Creek Productions, is currently crowdfunding for the very queer 2nd season of their award-winning supernatural horror audio drama, Liars and Leeches. If you don't know what this is, Liars and Leeches follows a woman navigating grief and terror in a home where more than just memories lurk. For season 2, they are expanding their extremely talented cast and crew to include Brandon Boone, the composer for the hit horror game Slay the Princess, and Ross McFarlane, one of the writers for the audio drama Folks Lore. Support their crowdfunder at bit.ly/liarss2 and listen to season 1 of Liars and Leeches wherever you pod your casts. Give them a good review. It's a genuinely very cool horror audio drama if that's your thing. A really excellent thing to listen to kind of fill your time and enjoy a great story. You're the best, Mars. Speaking of people to thank, I'm going to throw it over to Humna.
Yes, we would like to thank, as always, our Patreon precepts. Thank you so much for helping us do what we do. So with that, thank you, Ozra, Brooke, The Bow System, Cassidy, Clay, Elvira, Mainman13, Mark J, Nikolai, Phil, Robert Burke, Rose, Sergeant Danes, Spencer, Squareheart, Taylor, and Zoe. If you want to be, you right there, want to be a Patreon precept, you can join their illustrious ranks by using !Patreon in the chat. Consider pledging at the free tier, that's $0, that's free 99, or at the $3 tier to start, or even gift a subscription to a loved one. You'll unlock behind the scenes content and even monthly discounts on our merch store, which... Ooh, what's that? Is that merch? Whoa, that's Transplanter merch. Speaking of Transplanter merch, Val.
Ooh, indeed, it is Transplanter merch. Fans of Transplanter, as usual, you know this. You can find gorgeous apparel, home goods, and accessories designed by my husband. Once again, everyone in chat, our husband. Wonderful. Please use !merch in chat or go to transplanterrpg.shop. We have a bunch of new stuff that's in the works, so please grab yourself some spring fits so we can make our patent button-ups and matching skirts a reality. With that, passing it over to Kai.
If you've enjoyed the Chaos Protocol, please consider donating and leaving us a tip. All tips go directly to the performers and will also support our incredible mod team. Your donations help make our work possible. Use !donate in chat and toss a coin to the Twilight Guard. It really helps us continue doing the work we need to do and makes future fundraising possible. Sam?
And now it's time for everyone's favorite part. Last time on the Chaos Protocol. Strike Team Nova is invited to Yara Tharkar's album release party. At the event, Lumira spends time with Toyin and her grad student cohort. Zynon is invited to join House Kuatun and finally connects with Diablo. And Sayir talks with Yinghe about their relationship and tries to give the littlest spider some kind advice. Yara plays an amazing set, but the mood turns sour when she gets a bad review from Songbird Studios. And in the aftermath, she lashes out at Ro, which leads them to the archway, insisting that Tavash Lanius must die. And that's what you missed last time. Use !recap in chat to read our full written recap document. And now, what's going on, boss, with some self-care tips?
Ooh, self-care tips. That's true. So the Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for this session in particular may include fantasy violence, blood, gore, body horror, killing, death of loved ones, grief, complex character dynamics, apocalypse, guns as weaponry, and mentions of hunger, drowning, immolation, falling, and spiders. If you're in the Twitch chat, use !CW at any time tonight to get a full list of these content warnings, or if you're on YouTube, our incredible mods will be putting in these content warnings every now and then, so keep your eyes fresh on the chat when things are happening, because things are going to be happening this session. Speaking of which, the title of tonight's episode is The Sword Falls Sharp Against Dying Doom. From Praying Beside the Teeth That Killed Me by Connie Chong. Let's begin. The sky is still dark as Piera tacks up Natsu. The raptor's feathers are the dullest you've ever seen them, ragged and stringy with flecks of dust caked between the barbs that you just can't brush out. She's not lustrous like she used to be, but strong, agile. She'll get the job done. She'll carry Piera past Haruna City, past the rolling Akigi Plains, past the wetlands that haven't been wet for a long time now, until Piera catches a signal on her chatterbox, something, anything that shows her family is still alright. Of course, you're her family now too, but this is different, Zynon. It's always been different with Piera. Her family back home, her brothers and sisters and siblings, her cousins, her nephews, they need her. And who knows if the money's been going through. Haruna's gone dark ever since the radio towers went down. Piera has waited for as long as she can, waited on the company's promises to fix things, to bring the chatter back, to bring the water line up. But the chatter doesn't come back. And the lake keeps shrinking as it has for years and years and years. And Piera has never been one to trust what the company says. So here she is, tacking up Natsu by the weak dawn light. Dom's helping her, double-checking the cinch on the girth, stuffing extra provisions into her saddlebags. He's like a mother hen, always has been. Azalise stands on the porch, their skin the color of a bruise in the pale morning light, one hand on Doxa's shoulder. Doxa is tired, but alert. She's upset, of course. Upset that Piera is leaving only 3 days after her 11th birthday. Her pain is shown more openly than the rest of you, but she's putting on a brave face, biting her bottom lip hard. The atmosphere is tense. Piera wanted to leave weeks ago as soon as the towers went down, but the rest of you persuaded her to stay. Azalise, especially, for the family here, for Doxa. Words have been had, feelings have been hurt, tears shed, prides wounded. And this is the end result. Piera giving her equipment a final, fierce once over, while the rest of you watch. Where are you in this memory, Zynon?
Zynon stands not far from Natsu. There are so few good birds left. And not only is Piera going, but this is the safest way for her to go. And she's family and she has to come back.
Piera swings up into the saddle, settles in, picks up the reins. Natsu snorts, feathers rippling against you, Zynon, and then against Dom. And Piera looks at Dom, at Azalise, at Doxa, and at you, with a set and remorseful jaw, but there's no regret in her face at all. And she says to you, to all of you, listen, I have to know. I love you all. I'll be back, okay? Keep your chin up, kid. And Doxa says, I'm not a kid anymore. And a ghost of a smile, tense and resolute, passes over Piera's chapped lips. She whistles, nudges Natsu with her leg, and the two of them turn and start trotting down this path. You watch her leave. And as you do, Zynon, you imagine her cantering past Haruna City, past the rolling Akigi plains, past the wetlands that haven't been wet for a long time now, until she reaches a signal on her chatterbox. But that's just a fantasy, isn't it? Because the truth is, you don't know what happens to Piera. You never find out. And this is the last time you ever see her. The sky is dull as Dom laces up his boots. Actually, everything is dull. The wind, the dirt, the trees. It's been weeks since Piera has left, almost 2 months, and the dust has gotten so much worse. It's everywhere now, an endless whisper of silt that sticks in your lungs, settles there, makes itself home. The raptor stables have been empty for a long time now. Dom will have to make his journey on foot. Dom sits on the porch, hunched over his boots, wearing a wide-brimmed canvas hat and a bandana around his mouth. He's still big, still strong, but there's a hunger to his frame now, a kind of bone-sharp leanness that hasn't been there before. With the thirst came the dust, with the dust comes hunger, and even Dom is not spared. Azalise stands by the screen door, bandana around their neck, purple eyebrows furrowed. Doxa stands behind the screen because it's safer inside, away from the silt, but she's not happy about it. She fought this unfair rule until the bitter end and lost. Where are you in this memory, Zynon?
Zynon hands Dom his work gloves. They are the thickest gloves that they have left at the Lodestar steading. And he needs Dom to be safe so that they can both come back. And he coughs. He's been out in the dust more than most of them, finding supplies, tending to the dying raptors. Come back.
Dom takes the gloves from you, slides them over the liners on his fingers, cinches them at the wrists, and looks at you. It's tense this time, too, Zynon. Dom the steady, Dom the rock, always the backbone, now leaving. He tried to take you with him 3 times. First, when the well dried up. Second, when the last raptor died. And the 3rd time comes now. Dom straightens, turning to face the 3 of you. His eyebrows are furrowed, his gaze apologetic but firm, unflinching. Just as Piera has her family, Dom has Piera. All 3 of you share an intimate bond, of course, but theirs is especially close. You can imagine the tight line of his mouth behind his bandana as he speaks. Farm's dead, Zai. Hazel, it's not too late to grab your things. Rumors on the wind say things might be better out there.
Zynon looks to Azalise and then just past them to Doxa. He wears his fatherhood still with pride. It's the only pride he has left. We can't. You know we can't. And he can't say in front of Dom, in front of Doxa, that he can't stand the thought of her wasting in the dust, just looking for a safe place to be when they have one here.
Dom nods. He wasn't expecting you to say yes. Fine. I have to go find her. You all know that.
Yeah.
I have to find Piera. And when you both get your sense back, you'll know where to go. And with that, Dom shrugs on his pack, pulls his hat low over his eyes, and turns. And the screen door bangs open. Azo lets out a Doxa, but she's down the steps already, 1, 2, 3, and she throws her arms around Dom. Dom pauses, then hugs her back. He kneels down so he's eye to eye with the kid who's not a kid anymore, who's already 11, and ruffles her hair. He says something to her that you can't hear over the billowing dust, Zynon. And then Dom straightens up, and he goes. Doxa stands in front of the house, watching one of her fathers leave for as long as she can bear it until the dust gets too much and she starts coughing, and Ozil gently guides her back inside, reassuring her, telling her they'll all be together again soon. But Doxa isn't so sure. Neither are you. And in the end, Zynon, you never do find out what happens to Dom either. This is the last time you ever see him. The sky is black as Azalise shrugs on their duster. At least you assume it's black. You can't really tell from inside the house with the shutters drawn and the towels stuffed under doors and the cups and bowls turned upside down on their counters to prevent the dust, the ever-present dust, the never-ending fucking dust from filling them to the brim by the end of the day. It's quiet in here, the kind of quiet you get when you're too tired to fight anymore. You're not even sure if you can cry at this point, if your body has enough water on it. has enough water in it to waste on tears. It's been months since Dom left, half a year. And the dust has gotten so bad that the entire planet is choking from it. Color is a memory within a memory. Grit subsumes everything. Ozzel has tried to reason with you, Zai. And when reason failed, they pleaded with you, and then they begged, and then they shouted, and then they stewed, silently, bitterly, as Doxa shut herself in her bedroom, writing in the margins of her rugged journal, refusing to come out while the two of you argued. Ozzel refuses to let go of the rumors that have reached the steading, rumors of places safer than here, shuttles off-planet, rumors of water. It's dangerous out there, yes, but this house is a tomb. It's a place for ghosts, not for the living. Why, Zainin, do you refuse to take Doxa and go with Azalis?
There's nothing out there but death and dust. He can't take her out there because at least here they have a roof and bowls. He knows this dirt. If nothing else, they'll die under the tree that his parents are buried under.
Azalis tightens the final knot on their duster. Their gloves are on, their boots are on, their many protective layers and fabrics and linens are on. They pause by the door, looking at you, not yet ready to leave. Where are you in this memory, Zainin?
Bleeding with his eyes, dry and tired, the dust wasting starting to creep up his neck, deep in his lungs. He stands in the door to the kitchen where his parents used to cook. One of his favorite places in the whole world, and now it is just a monument to the love that they all had here.
Ozzel's mouth, once so soft and sweet, now cracked and broken, twists into a firm line. They're about to speak, about to say something to you, but then there's a noise down the hall, a door slamming shut. It's Doxa, angry about Ozzel leaving, angry about her own powerlessness to stop it, angry about the fights the two of you have been having for weeks now. Azalis raises their head, their eyes full of remorse, and the voice that comes out is cracked and hoarse, but there's a stab at lightheartedness, at an attempt to make this sour goodbye sting less for her. Take care of your paw for me, Doxa, like we promised. But Doxa doesn't reply. Ozzel's eyes turn back to you, Zainin. And there's a plea in them not to make this farewell more painful than it has to be, on the heels of so much tension and stress and disagreement and dust. Take care of our home, Zai. Take care of Doxa. I'll be back.
Oh. Zainin can't say more. He said it all. He said it in the howl of the dust. He said it louder than he meant to when Doxa could hear. He said it 1,000 ways, and all of it is just empty at this point. He doesn't have any hope that they'll ever come back, that any of them will ever come back.
Azalis pulls on their goggles, pulls on their gas mask, their scarf, and they look at you through those goggles one last time, for the final time at you. And then they turn quickly, open the door swiftly, and just like that, they shut it behind them. But even in that brief opening, the dust howls, a ream of it billows inside, and then it seals shut, and the quiet black settles in once more. And this is the last time you see Azalis. You don't know what happens to them. You don't know what happens to Dom. You don't know what happens to Piera. You are the lone survivor of Keseki, Zainen Ash. But that is a title as tenuous and ephemeral as dust, isn't it? Not knowing is an open wound that festers and rots and refuses to close. You feel it here, still in the present, on the bank of this crimson stream as two vampires collide underneath an ancient archway and the Oracle bids your strike team to leave. You could leave now, Zainen. You could leave without ever knowing what happens to this world, what happens to the houses, what happens to these people who have invited you in, who have called you family. Or you can make a different choice. What do you do?
Zainen has spent a decade believing that fate is the answer to all of the unanswered questions. Tapira, did she ever find her family? To Dom, did he find her? Did they die together? Did they die alone? To Azalis, wherever they went, whatever end they found, he doesn't know. And he is tired of not knowing endings. Fate does not get to take another one from him today. In fact, he doesn't let fate take any endings from him today, from Nova today. And he hears the Oracle saying no endings. There's a fight right here for all of the future of Inferno. Either undo the tapestry or finally settle an endless fight. And he is tired. He is tired of not knowing, and it is time to do something about it. We're not going anywhere.
What?
Zainen?
We're not done here.
But the Oracle, what it just said.
Zainen
Your
looks
mission
to
is
Nova.
complete, Agent Ash. It's done.
Zaina looks to Nova, ignoring the Oracle entirely, his eyes a little bit wild, like he just woke up from a dream. If we are going to see an end, we can't just go now. This is not finished. This mission was never about just two people meeting. And he points to the fight that is about to fully engulf this area, all of Inferno. We can't go now. We're not done. Let's find an ending.
Sayer, Lumira, do you heed his call?
Lumira looks wide-eyed, like she couldn't believe Zainen openly defied the Oracle's orders. And she looks back between Zainen and Sayer and Yinghe and the Oracle over and over again, but then her eyes lock on Zainen. Zainen, her eyes started wild, but you see those gears turning. She's picking up exactly what you're putting down. And she nods This isn't done yet.
Another domino falls in front of Sayer as he sees the line of dominoes behind it, the many doors that will open and close. And in the sound echoing in his mind, Sayer looks to you with, at first, hesitance, confusion. He stares at the oracle for a moment, but when the omen speaker looks back to you, Zynon, it's the face of a boy. The boy who has boundless and limitless faith in you. Even if he doesn't know the right answer, even if he doesn't know what he needs to do. He stands with you, and his eyes lock to yours as he nods very slowly.
In that moment, Zynon holds open a door.
Okay. Okay.
Zynon looks to his family, not just to Lumira, with an open invitation that he has held for her since the day she confessed what fate had done. One for Sayer to be free of the fate that his sister had. To walk forward with Nova as himself, as the Doom speaker that he is. And to Doxa, an invitation he never gave her to choose to be anywhere else than the oblivion that awaited them. And he looks back to the Oracle. We're not done yet.
Yinghe sees Strike Team Nova's response to this call, and their mouth is a resolute line as they say, I was never here for the Syndicate in the first place. I was always here for the three of you. So if you're all staying, so am I. And the Oracle goes,
Well, that's not what you're supposed to do. Ugh. Do I have to be the responsible party here? Because if I do, then I will. Opening up a portal back to trans. Beep, 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 beep.
As the Oracle starts to insist, Zynon looks to Yinghe. Looks at her not as the shadow that follows them, as another member of his family. And he smiles at her. How would you like to use some of that nice shadow magic you've got?
Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this to, a thing that comes from the Syndicate, but if you say so. And there's a vicious little glint in Yinghe's eyes as they flex their fingers forward. These past 6 weeks in Inferno, you are still technically newly turned vampires, but with every night that passes, you feel that blood running through your undead veins grow stronger and stronger as you connect with your dark gift in new ways. And Yinghe places their fingers onto the ground of this forest grove. They touch the place where the oracle's floating form casts a circular shadow. And as the oracle starts to glow, right, that magic 8-ball form swirling and the D20 within that glass window pane also like swishing and swishing and swishing around an unseen fluid, it suddenly like freezes in midair, almost as though Yinghe is restricting its shadow from moving.
Look! Hey! What do you think you're doing? Yinghe, let me go! This is making the portal opening process very difficult!
This is gonna make it even harder. And Zynon, out of thin air, kind of makes a motion with his hand like he is one-handedly finishing loading a rifle, pulling the bolt closed, and in his hand, out of nowhere, materializes, the blink of an eye, a golden gun. And he swings it over, and using the butt of the rifle, like a baseball bat, hits the Oracle as hard as he can.
Yes! Yes!
Yinghe releases the shadow at the perfect moment, and there's a lot of latent energy built up, right? So you're hitting like an uber-charged magic 8-ball. Whoop, bam! And the Oracle lets out a right before it collides with their body.
You better not be doing what I think you're... I'm gonna tell on all of you so hard!
and then a distant splash.
Sayer looks at you, Zynon, at first with shock, never thinking you would be the one to do that, and then with vindication. This justified level of vindication with a little smile.
Well,
And Strike Team Nova, you turn your attention to the fight. So, as I've mentioned, you've all been vampires for 6 weeks, and each week you felt your abilities grow stronger, bit by bit, like a slowly rising river. The strength of the undead is empowered by age. The older the vampire, the more potent their gifts. So you all have been vampires for 6 weeks. The spider and the shrike have been vampires for much, much longer than that. Just as humans struggle to keep up with the clashes between undead, the newly blooded struggle to keep up with the clashes between experienced vampires. Ro and Tavash collide like freight trains. They collide like weapons of slaughter. They collide like planets who fucking hate each other's guts. The minutiae of their movements are lost to you all completely. The twisting of arms, the turning of bodies, the kicks and punches and claws and bites and snarls, but the bigger picture of violence becomes clear in an instant. Wherever Ro and Tavash meet, devastation ripples outward. Water surges onto the shore. Trees are pummeled into. The ground itself is torn off beneath their feet as though it were a lover's chemise amidst a passionate embrace. You have been vampires for 6 weeks, have learned Inferno for 6 weeks, have gotten to know its peoples, its houses, its bloodlines, its conflicts for 6 weeks, and now, as Rhododendron Takar and Tavash Lanius clash in rage and grief and fury, the final wedges on the fate of Inferno clock are ticked for each of you, and the fate of Inferno becomes clear. It is Rhododendron tearing into Tavash. It is Tavash ripping Ro apart. It is the tangled rise and fall of the houses of Trakar and Lanius. This is the fate of Inferno, this never-ending strife, this conflict of blood and fang. It is why your mission here is now complete. This is her will for Inferno. And in the face of this collective realization, as all the puzzle pieces start to fall in place, we pull into this heartbroken brawl. Who has the upper hand in this moment? Ro, I'll let you decide, because the tables will always turn.
It's Tavash. Tavash has the upper hand because Ta was expecting Ro. Ro does not have the element of surprise on their side this time.
That is true. We see you in the midst of this maelstrom, and Tavash has backed you up against a tree, flung you there bodily, crash! And as the trunk kind of splinters behind your weight, a falling cascade of leaves forming a kind of broken halo around your body, you see them come in with the top end of the cane thrusting in the direction of where your throat might be, so they might pin you underneath the chin there. How do you respond?
Ro scoffs a little, partially from the pressure of the cane up against their throat, and partially from just the ridiculousness of the situation, partially from the venom that is forming in their throat, coating their tongue, their fangs, their teeth. They look at Tavash and they say, didn't even think to say hello, before Ro pushes back up against this cane. They take their hands, wrap them around each end of it, and they push back with their entire force of their body, staggering Tavash backwards. And I think still holding with one hand onto the cane, I think tries to thrust it out of Tavash's hands.
Tavash flies backward as you shove the cane back, but they use the momentum and follow where you're leading them with their cane to kind of wind up behind you, where they knee you in the small of your back and kind of kick you, so you stumble forward and have to like grab against a tree trunk or maybe a pillar of the column itself of the archway. Instead of completely toppling over, they wrest the cane out from your grasp and they steady themselves on the ground as they do so, and they say, "Oh, is that what you wanted from me? A hello? Well, hello, rhododendron Thrakar. I like what you've done with your hair. Very sparkly. Tell me, are the mirrors a commentary on the narcissistic self-reflexivity of your house?"
And as Ro buckles under that kick, under that push from Tavash, they go onto the ground, they catch themselves with their hands, and they use that momentum to pull a leg out and spin themselves around, tripping Tavash by pushing on one of his legs until he buckles underneath it as well. And says, I've seen the new cathedral that you've been working on. Seems like you're not so concerned with subtlety. Cantilevers. A bold confession of your precarity, were it not a decade-old architectural trend, a facade left to fester.
Left to fester, you say? Yes, well, at least I actually make things. And they are right up in front of your face now. Instead of using their cane, their claws are out, those nails suddenly sharp in a way that they aren't typically, now wielded in violence, and it spears forward in an attempt to get you through the heart. How do you counter?
With their mouth. Ro opens their mouth and pushes their body down so that instead of Tavash's claws going into their heart, it goes straight into their throat, and Ro bites down hard with their fangs, puncturing Tavash's skin, some of the blood trickling out, and then Ro spits Tavash's hand out of their mouth and says, I think you fancy yourself a critic now, is it? What was it? One must pave their own path, build their own legacy? Then let me tell you, my dear Shrike, what your legacy is. As Ro, I think, uses the moment of Tavash's shock, ideally, at being bitten in the hand, to press forward, pushing Tavash backwards and backwards and backwards, staggering until we are on the bank of the Red River. And with every step that they take, Ro says, "You, my dear Shrike, create larger-than-life buildings, begging to be noticed. Your attention-seeking makes you oblivious to the cheap materials and crumbling foundations that mar your mausoleums, each building a cankerous wound, an impressive display to rival even the most unpleasant undead in Inferno."
Tavash has been backed up into the shallow shores of the Red River, which the stream feeds into. And as one foot kind of goes into the water itself, they let out a, "Well, how's this for architecture you can taste?" And they reach out and they grab onto a nearby fountain from the park, like an actual physical fountain. They rip off one of the pieces of strong and sturdy masonry that holds in the water, and they attempt to like crack it over your head. And on this shattering piece of marble and stone, we pan all the way back to Strike Team Nova. This entire exchange took seconds, right? Bare seconds, all this happened. Now they're all the way down the stream, and in a few more seconds, they're probably going to be all the way back underneath this archway. So how do the three of you try to jump into the fray?
I think that they do just like stand and kind of look at all of this happen for a minute.
Uh-huh.
Now what?
That's what I was going to ask you, Zai.
Fuck.
I think you had. I think we had the right idea, but we might have been a bit too big for our britches.
Stone! And Sayer, on instinct, sees a flying stone from the broken masonry and punts it away.
Shit.
Before being pummeled again by another sound of doom. With each moment that Tavash and Ro have between each other, Sayer hears 4 to 5 dominoes go down in his head. There's an insistence, a tolling of Doom's bell for the fall of Inferno, for the fall of the houses. And Sayer's wide-eyed, knocking that stone out. Maybe we just keep the damage from getting too far. For now.
We gotta try and stop this.
If we don't, it's going to be the end of Inferno.
Right. Hey! And Zynon is going to attempt to get their attention and yell as he kind of just breaks away from Nova, rifle at the ready, trying to find a way to separate them for even a moment. He promised Diablo that he would try and get everyone to leave from this hole. No second deaths tonight, is what he said, and he meant it.
Okay. So in addition to raising your voice, shouting to get their attention, is there anything else you're trying to do to make them hesitate, to make them waver, or is it just kind of like trying to attract their eyes?
I think if one of them raises an obvious weapon that he can do anything about, because I don't think shooting a stone's gonna help, he will be ready to shoot it out of their hand.
Okay, Rhododendron, what improvised weapon have you hoisted over your head at this moment?
As Tavash goes to grab the water fountain masonry, right? I think Ro grabs the thing that's right next to it, which is a garbage can.
Yeah, you see
try.
a flash of black steel as this like huge park-sized garbage can is hoisted over their head like it weighs a feather. So you can try to shoot that thing out of their hand. What skill would you like to engage?
We're gonna try hunt. I anticipate
Okay.
it being silly, but I think even if it just gets their attention, it's what he's really looking for.
Absolutely. I am going to set your position as desperate and your effect as limited. Go for it.
Yep. That's
What's your
fair.
hunger like?
None.
0? Okay, that's great.
I had a very nice time earlier. And that is a 6.
Okay, that is a full success. So what were you trying to do? Like knock it out of Ro's hands?
Yeah, and if nothing else, shoot it close enough to rear hand to see someone is trying
Like
to stop
get their
me
attention?
from doing this.
Okay, yeah. What does it look like as you hoist the rifle up to your face and you shoot this bullet with unyielding precision?
Zynon is still, his heart is thrumming just from the decisions he's made in the last moment. And with that, though, you can see the rifle is also thrumming with him, made from the very molten creation inside of him. And as a pulse goes down the rifle and it drips a little at the very end, he fires off this shot the same way he has always done in every plane.
The bullet punches out and it hits right next to Ro's hand, but it doesn't hit any of your fingers perfectly. There's a spark of gold as that bullet explodes against the steel and a dent goes in, and the trash can literally is like shot out of your hand from the momentum of this bullet hitting it. As that explosion kind of goes off by your head, Tavash seizes this window of opportunity where you're kind of like a little disoriented, Ro, to tackle you bodily around the waist with such force that you hit the ground upstream and you roll back up toward where the archway is. Bam, 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 causing like huge gouge marks in the ground from where your bodies roll and collide. Lumira and or Sayer, how do you leap into action?
Okay. Let me know if I'm doing too much or if I can do this. I have
Absolutely.
I have 2 special abilities that I would like to tack in here. First
Okay.
one is the Old Tongue. I know the secret methods of consorting with creatures and paranormal entities, no matter how wild or feral they are. I think they're a little feral. I gain +1 effect when communicating with anything non-human. So that's one. I'd like to stack that with my second ability, Fascinate. I gain a +1 effect when commanding attention magically. My coterie will gain +1d to the next action they take while attention is drawn to me.
Okay. All right. So you're using that ability. Lovely. How does it activate? What does it look like as you're pulling on the threads of Inferno's magic, which is very different for the magic in every other plane you've visited so far, aside from Earth?
I think what happens with Lumira is she's a student, she's very observant, so she's watching all of this, and I think while everything's still moving very quickly, she's still getting shutter speed movements, almost as if you're snapping pictures in between and you're getting those freeze frames of the movement that's happening in between. And when she sees that Zynon calls out and distracts Ro a bit and sees that Tavash is in the midst of trying to really kind of take advantage of Ro's distraction, Lumira stands and she walks, walks over towards where it's at, a little bit past Zynon. And I think she takes a deep breath, steeling herself, and almost as if wind has came out of nowhere and starts blowing around her. Wind starts to whip and circle around her, and her voice amplifies. And she
love it.
Kind of just screams out, "You will destroy everything!"
What skill would you like to invoke as these words ring out from you?
I think what Lumira, a bit again, I think what Lumira thinks she's doing is surveying, but she's really channeling. It's the same amount of pips.
Okay, I love it. So channel, the position here is going to be desperate, and your effect is going to be 0, but you get to add 1 effect because you're stacking these abilities, yes?
Yes.
Okay, your effect climbs up to limited, because in this moment, Ro and Tavash literally only have eyes for each other. Like, it's kind of like they're incapable of seeing anything else outside of their own hatred and violence. So, make those rules for me. What's your hunger at?
My hunger currently is at 1.
Okay, that's not bad. Go for it.
That is a 5.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a
2.
partial success. Okay, what that means is you're not going to get them to stop in their tracks and stop destroying everything that's around them, but what I will give you is this. You will continue to give a +1 to your allies as they act with this kind of like aura of confidence emanating from you, this magical bolstering sensation that's rippling outward from you like threads off of a tapestry, and you specifically will hear what Ro and Tavash say to each other next, because they're not paying attention to you, but you are paying attention to them very closely. And all of you notice as both of their bodies kind of like collide to a stop underneath the shadow of the archway, that final crater that they make is in the shape of an X as their 2 bodies cross. And as blood dribbles from both of their bodies, that X glows red for just a fragment of a second before it looks mundane again. And Tavash has you on your back, Ro, and their hand is drawn back, their nails sharpened into a deadly point as they say to you, snarling coming out of their mouth, blood foam dribbling down onto your face. Always the critic, never the creator, are you? All you do is sit still and pretty in the middle of your perfect little web you don't make. You don't know what it's like to take a risk. Ro, to take a stand. You won't even try. And they plunge their hand down toward your chest.
As Tavash's hands come towards their chest, Ro pushes up with their legs, like creating further distance between themselves and Tavash, almost holding Tavash up in the air above them. And they say, I don't make, but I know good art when I see it. What is it that you try to make? A divine building with divine proportions? A commendable vision, but your hands can't manifest something sacred when your heart cannot even recognize it in front of you. And as Ray finishes their sentence, Ro kicks Tavash out, like upwards and backwards over their head and towards that archway, like barreling into the stone of the archway and cracking it in several places. That plaque that has written on it, created by House Thakra and House Elanius, shattering against Tavash's body.
Straight down the middle, on one half of the plaque is House Trakar, the other half is Lanius, and it like resonates down and thunders against Tavash's body. They stumble forward as this cloud of dust kind of plumes outward from where you've cracked the plaque over them, and they actually lean down into the dirt and grab up fistfuls of soil. They turn and they fling that silt into your eyes to disorient you. Fuck his hand, bitch! As clouds of dirt and dust explode around this archway, we pan over to Sayir.
Sayir in this moment is buffeted by that sound of the dominoes falling, of doom, then hearing the oracle's mission complete has triggered a new thought into his mind, the realization of fate's will upon this place. And he says to himself, just like the wild sea, just like Oregnus at the world tree, it's Oregnus at the world tree, Oregnus at the world tree, and with the devouring, it was the river and the devouring, and it's the same here. Doom, fate, doom. What does it mean? And that's when a distant crash brings him back to this reality, to the fact that doom is happening all around him right now as Ro and Tavash try to kill each other. And he goes to his waist, and he doesn't have patience, nor does he have violence. All he has is himself. And they run and do the only thing they know they can't do, and that's collate the amount of collateral damage. Bring the ring closer. Maybe when the battlefield is smaller, Zynon and Lumira can get to them. He's here for Nova, and he will help Nova. So what I would like to do is try and, with either items or stone or with my own goddamn body, I'm going to try and encircle Ro and Tavash to keep them in a limited space.
Okay, what skill would you like to invoke?
They don't have a sheepdog attribute, apparently. So I'm going to say that this is a hunt. I am trying to hunt. I'm going to hunt where they're going and then corral, like a hunter would do, corral them into this particular spot.
Your position is desperate. Your effect is going to be 0. Do you have anything that can increase it? Lumira's action, right, increases your effect, so that's up to limited.
Yep, I have a +1 to hunt in general, and I'm hungry, in case you want to do anything with that, Connie.
Yes, hungry. So what that means is you will minus 1d from the pool if you are hungry.
I have 1d6 to roll, let's go!
Let's do it!
The dice said yes, that's a 6.
That's a 6. Okay, still limited effect, but that is a full success. You do exactly what you set out to do as perfectly as you could do it. Context
Thanks, Lumi.
notwithstanding. So what does it look like as you try to bring the ring in closer?
Sayir finds the broken off bit of stone, and right by it is the dented garbage can lid that Sayir picks up, punches it once to flatten it a little bit more, and then the next time either Ro or Tavash are launching, he wants to hold and shove them back, and he's going to try and like each time they're bouncing around this space, he wants to try and run, catch them, and shoving them back into a more centralized location, away from potential bystanders.
Okay, Sayer, what you do is a lesson in withstanding pain. The first time you do this, Tivash has in their grip a park bench, a pure steel, like pure metal park bench, one of those old things, you know what I mean, wrought iron, has picked it up and is swinging it at Ro like it's a fucking folding chair, and you come in, right, trying to intercept the two, and it's like the park bench almost clips through you, so your body and the bench and the trash can lid all hit Ro at the same time, and in fact, you increase the amount of weight thrown against the spider. Boosh! Ro, where do you and Sayer land? Though you are incapable of seeing Sayer in this moment.
We land like so far away against, I think, where there is a greenhouse set up in this park, and we crash through the glass of the greenhouse, shards like falling, raining down on us as we do.
Yep. You're in the middle of soil bags around you. Fertilizer has spilled. A bunch of benches. You see broken flowers, tumbled over succulents, roses, nasturtiums. And then that's all the breath you get as Tivash comes in with a, like, claws sharpened once more, this time not going for your chest, but going for your face, trying to rip that, like, pretty smirk off of him. And as they do, they're kind of just, like, rushing over you, Sayer. You're in the path. They, like, literally step over you onto your, like, chest, your rib, and they're going to crack it down. Not on purpose, but because they literally, like, don't see you. You're literally just getting run over in the middle of this. So I'm going to give you a tier 2 wound, which is broken rib.
Heck yeah.
Would you like to resist this?
No.
Okay. Yeah, there's a as you feel all that wind leave your solar plexus, and then the two heirs of their respective houses collide once more inside this shattered greenhouse. We pull out from this line of violence all the way back to where the archway is, all the way back up onto the bank, down the scope of one Zynon Esh. What do?
Zynon sees Sayer go down, and suddenly his intention to keep these two safe goes out the window. Sayer cannot go down in this fight as well. And now it's not about getting their attention. They're not going to see him. That is abundantly clear. And so he changes tactics, and the gun immediately, when he makes the decision, melts away in his hand. And he looks around, having seen Sayer with that shield, and does something that he thought about doing in the City of Heaven. And as he sort of ponders this, that molten gold, again, just kind of runs out from underneath his sheer shirt from nowhere and begins to pool on his arm like he is holding a puddle on his forearm as it slowly forms into a golden crescent shield with a deer's head and large horns on it, and in the middle a bright, brilliant star. And he runs straight at Sayer, trying to not body any damage from these two fighting per se, but to get his bulwark back up on his feet.
Okay. So I assume you're going to try to protect and shield Sayer from any stray blows coming from Ro and Tivash while this is happening. Your goal is to get Sayer out of there, out of the melee. Okay. What skill would you like to invoke?
I'm gonna say this is not a fighting choice. This is a command choice. This is, I need my body guy back. And so I'm going to say command. Possibly?
Okay, you know, I like how you pitched it. Let's do that. So your position here is going to be risky, not desperate, because it's not a goal to stop these two unstoppable forces, but to just get someone out of danger. And your effect is going to be standard here. If you can pull this off, Sayer will be out of danger. That's correct.
Okay. And to clarify, I do get 1d6 from Lumira, or is that
Your effect is increased by 1 degree, right, from Lumira, or is that just an additional? Okay, so that's
Yeah,
actually, your effect is great. Okay, your effect goes up to great. If you pull this off, he will not only be out of danger, so will you, and you can use this shield very dexterously.
Great. And then I'm gonna push myself to add another d6 then.
Okay, that's increasing your hunger?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still well fed because I was down to 0, but I didn't roll good. That's 2 2s.
That's a bad outcome.
That's bad. I did bad.
Okay, Zynon, you rush forward with this new kind of like crescent shield, these antlers flaring out on either side of you as though you were a charging stag, and you bull rush into that shattered greenhouse where this piece of architecture is literally getting leveled from the foundations based on this whirlwind of violence happening within it. Garden shears are flying all over the place. Pots are being smashed. Ceramic shards and glass shards raining down in equal measure. The kind of metal ribs holding up the windows are also being cracked and shattered, almost forming these like curved in rib cage, as though this greenhouse were a transparent giant lying on its back. And as you come in, kind of shielding your own body from this raining glass, Ro, what stray bullet does Zynon catch from you?
It is the wings of a statue that was placed as a decoration next to one of the beautiful floral arrangements in this greenhouse that Ro had crashed into during one of Tavash's attacks and had picked up the remaining pieces of and thrown towards Tavash.
Okay, yeah, Tavash deflects it with one arm thrown out and breaks the statue in half, like both wings come out. And in that explosion, that break, we see a red X flash in the air briefly, and then one wing pummels into the shield, Zynon, with such force that you are buckled over, right? It doesn't hit you because you have the shield up, but you are flung onto the ground, and the other smashes the ground really close to where Sayir is. Like, it misses his head by mere inches. You gotta get there, Zynon. At this point, you're staggered. I'm going to give you a level 1 wound of staggered. Would you like to
Sayir!
resist this?
Nope.
Okay, yeah. Sayir, you're still from your ribs being, broken and caved in, but you hear Zynon, you see something glowing, a flash of Artemis? No, Zynonesh. And then we pan all the way back down the bank to where Yinghe and Lumira are. Yinghe lets out a, Sayir! Zynon! What do you do, Lumira?
Lumira's just watched Sayir get hit. She just watched Zynon get hit. And she looks back at Yinghe. And she just stares. It feels like forever, but it's just a few seconds. And I think Yinghe sees that same determined glare settle across Lumira's face again. We're not doing this today. So, I have a proposition for you, Connie.
Okay. I'm listening.
I know I already used my dark gift on Tavash already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to offer 6 of my thirst track if I can use it again.
I'll take that bargain. Go
All
for
right.
it. Tell me what it looks like when you tap into a well you've already exhausted, but push through that wall, push through Tavash's defenses to see yet another secret cracked open for the taking.
I think that wind kicks up around Lumira's feet again. Debris starts flying across the battlefield. And she just stares. She's watching every single movement that she can see. Every single person has a tell. Every single one, no matter how well they think that they are at hiding that mask, especially when they are in the midst of confronting something that disrupts their spirit, their emotional being so well. That mask, it always slips. Lumira wants that mask of Tavash. If she can find that mask, if she can manipulate that mask, even just a slight bit, Nova might be able to find some type of upper hand in this. She may not be as old as them, but she is just as smart as the rest of them.
You are able to find that mask swiftly and skillfully because Tavash Lanius wears their pain behind the same place you wear yours, Lumira. The eyes. And as you focus on them in this greenhouse, there's a moment where everything works in perfect alignment, like a moment of cosmic syzygy, as like tree branches sway out of the way, as debris moves out of your path from the swirling wind, as Tavash draws back their hand and exposes their face in profile to you. You see past their tinted glasses into their red eyes, and you are able to do it right there, seize onto that secret. And the chronergy inside of you, Lumira, strains. It bubbles, the pain, like a heartbeat, like your heart is throbbing against razor wire, the blood of it, but you push past it, and you lance inside with surgical medical precision, and you see memories of a past you yourself were in the cathedral, where you confronted the Shrike, the altar, something on the altar itself, the chalk outline, of course, the spilled blood, the shard of an art piece from Rhododendron Trakar, the ritual. Tavash Lanius had been enacting some kind of ritual specifically in preparation for this night, for this exact moment. But what? And then overlaying this memory, flashes of the next 6 weeks, flashes of your studies in Inferno, thaumaturgical symbols coming into focus, specific lines about magical psychology from the professor's lectures. It all clicks into place, perfect cosmological syzygy. The memories of the cathedral line up with your studies in the city, and the truth comes to light like the parhelion behind an eclipse. Tavash Lanius has bound his fate to Rose. If one dies, so shall the other. Together they live, together they fall. That is why Tavash lured Ro here with that review. He wants Ray to attack them. He wants Ray to rage at them. He wants Ray to kill them. It's more than that, more than an act of vengeance. He's not doing this for his house. He's doing this for Ro? Himself? He's fulfilling a promise that has been warped by time, by grief, by misunderstanding. You don't know exactly what the contents of that promise is here, but you do know what that means, the shape it takes. It's his final swan song. And he's gonna do this right. That final heartbeat, you're back in the present, that razor wire. How does this strain manifest on you? How does this hunger surge from you physically?
I think it staggers Lumira. She steps back almost as if anyone was looking at her, it would look like she's bracing herself against the strongest winds as she steps back and trying to hold her weight on her back foot. But it's just only briefly before she rights herself. She sees the entire picture now. And she explains just that to Yinghe.
This is a trap. We have to get Zaire and Zynon out of there. And we push back into the greenhouse where Ro and Tavash, the two of you, smash out from that final standing glass wall of this space, and the two of you tumble deeper into the grove, hand over fist, arm over arm, throat against fang, fang against neck, and the two of you slam into a massive boulder inside the grove itself. You crack it. This crater, bits of pebbles start flying everywhere. And Tavash is saying to you, as they're kind of pinning you against this boulder, not going for the throat yet, but their mouth is so close to your face. You can feel their breath against your skin, their tongue almost against your ear, their fangs whispering against your skin. And they say, I knew you'd come, Ro. You know, a part of me had fantasized that you'd grown, that you'd evolved past this pain of what had been shattered and broken between us. But then I woke up from that daydream. Because the truth is, you still care about me, don't you? And they press you harder into the stone, despite everything. You think you know about me, I still know how to push. And they press so hard against one of your wrists that you fear your bones might break. And your knee against your leg, you fear your femur might crack. Button.
With every push, Ro feels pain shoot through their body, and Ray pushes back. They don't allow Tavash to simply push and break them without a fight. When Tavash comes close to their face, they get closer and they rake their fangs along Tavash's neck as a warning sign before Ray pushes back against Tavash's ribs, against his shoulder blades, against all of the joints in his body, and they say, care about you. No, I care about Yara, my fearsome shrike. How fucking dare you spare to the spare of House Takrar? At least our family, at least my family, wants us. You only play at being heir. You are a lineus in nothing more than name, claimed by no house. Not in any way that matters. And Ro will try to maneuver their body by wrapping their legs around Tavash's waist and pulling their body around so that Tavash is pinned against the boulder with Ro straddling him on top.
You watch your fucking mouth! And Tavash pushes off against the stone and flings the two of you through this grove until you're all the way back to the archway, and both of you slam into this pillar. They maneuver their way so that they twist you back. You're constantly changing who has the upper hand. It is never guaranteed. Every second it changes, and now your back is pressed against the stone, and this archway cracks. That one piece of stone holding it together from these two pillars on top, we see a deep serration run through it. It doesn't quite crumble yet, but a few more blows and it will. And Tavash snarls against you. You have always been such a cynic, Ro, such a coward. Your family, of course, your family always comes first. The Trakar line. What the Trakars stand for, your place in your storied lineage. You didn't even want it, rhododendron. And yet, you leapt at the chance to have it, throwing everything else away like it meant nothing.
And pushed up against the archway, Ro will pull back, pushing their feet up against the stone, using it as leverage, and will shoot themselves forward at Tavash, crumbling some of the foundation of the archway as they push off of it. And they leap at Tavash's throat, and with their mouth, their fangs at his collarbones, at his neck, tearing at the sinew of Tada's flesh, Ro says, "And what did you want? What did you want, my shrike? Did you ever even know? Or was it all a facade, all lies, all just stained glass pictures that you were more than happy to create for me?"
I wanted you to trust me! And Tavash slams their fist against the pillar of the archway and it shatters. All of it. The rock crumbles around the two of you, slamming against both of your bodies, but both of you are too powerful to be waylaid by such a thing, and it reveals cracked pieces of iron rebar that hold this archway aloft. As they do, we realize what Tavash has been going for in this gesture. An improvised steel stake. They grab that piece of rebar and they rip it out from the foundations of the archway and they say, "You just believed what everyone said about me. You didn't even try to learn the truth. And that is why." They lift the stake up over their head, arcing it with this incredible force, like a god about to smite down a mortal, and they say, "You didn't even try to fight for what we had, to fight for our love. Love, rhododendron, do you tremble beneath the weight of that curse? Well, now it will strike you down." And they fling the stake down towards your heart.
Rose's hands go up immediately. It is a reflex. It is an instinct. Rose says, "You are the one that cursed me. You are the reason that doom is falling upon me, my family, my house. It is all your fault." And Rose's hands deflect this improvised rebar of stake. I'm gonna retake that.
Sure.
Rose's hands go up and deflect this improvised stake, pushing it far away from their body, off to the side.
Sayre, in the greenhouse, as you are coming to, as Zynon is stirring and rousing beside you, you feel another domino fall. And as you do, you sense it. Doom, doom, doom. That ever-present, ever-hanging sword is beginning to drop, and then you feel it, the momentum of the blade falling as your eyes are drawn toward that improvised stake, deflected by rhododendron, headed in Lumira's direction. No, Yinghe. The trajectory is perfect. It will spear them through the heart and kill them.
And just like his sister, Sayre acts first. Sayre runs. He runs so fast, he gets up past Zynon. Fleeing, running as fast as his legs could carry him. One thought pulsing through his spine. Please just let me get there. Please just let me get there. Please let me reach him. Please let me reach her. That is all I need is one moment. Let me get there. And he runs. And he runs. He's there.
Sayre, you arrive perfectly in time. The stake goes through your chest. It pierces your tattoo, your birthmark, and it spears you through the heart. The momentum of it flings you through the air, and you land hard onto the shore of the Red River, your lower half submerged in the water, but your upper half pinned above the current by this lance, unable to fall fully. It has speared you completely through your undead, still beating heart, lanced through you. You can feel it coming out of you from the other side. You can feel it dripping with your blood, your undead heart squeezing and gasping around this metal, around this deadly stake. One of the few things that can kill a vampire, grant them their second death. And Sayre, you see him. As you lie there half staggering, hazy, growing colder with every passing second in that riverbank, your black hair fanning out behind you like an inverted halo, you see him. Doom. The antlers. The endless strings of red thread, the eyes as blue as midnight, and a distant realization begins to set in, creeping closer and closer and closer with every footfall. What is it?
This is it. My doom. Sayre's toes are hovering just above the riverbed. He's half submerged. His knees are, if he were on the ground, he'd be kneeling, held up only by this iron stake, and he looks into the eyes of doom. There you are. There you are. And the realization that falls in Sayer's mind, this moment of doom, that final plea to be there in time, to push himself, his doom, this moment. It mattered. It mattered.
And we're going to cut to break there. Thank you all so much for tuning in so far. We will be back in just about 10 minutes. Enjoy the fan art reel. time it is. It's sponsor Connie time with a word from Hero Forge. Hero Forge has officially leveled up with kit bashing. When you become a pro member, you can place up to 20 more items anywhere on one of your Blorbos with their own independent scaling, rotation, and movement. You can make your character look exactly as they should, even if the specific clothing or accessory option isn't available at the base level. You just have to get a little creative. And because I love you, Transplaners, here's a special sneak peek at a kit bashed version of Oblivion. Just look at those wings and that base. This would not be possible without the power of kit bashing. The combinations are literally endless, and you can print your kit bashed Blorbos as plastic minis, standees, digital STL files, or even Hero Forge's brand new color statuettes. Color statuettes are twice the size of a regular mini, and just look at this. I mean, look at how massive this is, and especially in comparison to a regular mini, you can really get into all the nooks and crannies and details that wouldn't be as apparent on a regular sized mini. Just look at how Oblivion dwarfs Oka here. And also, if you're a GM, consider busting out one of these bad boys during a boss fight to really get your players shaking in their boots. Oblivion agrees. Unlock the true power of Hero Forge with a Hero Forge Pro subscription starting at $3.99 a month. Get in there and start creating at bit.ly/transforge. Now, let's get back to the show. Or more likely, just more of the waiting room. Trust in her will. Hello, friends. We are back with this episode of the Chaos Protocol. We're just going to jump right back into the flow of things. A reminder of content warnings as usual. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that contains content that may be triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for this session may include fantasy violence, blood, gore, body horror, killing, death of loved ones, grief, complex character dynamics, apocalypse, guns as weaponry, and mentions of hunger, drowning, immolation, falling, and spiders. If you're on Twitch, use !CW at any time to get a look at our content warnings. And if you are in the YouTube chat, our mods will be copy and pasting content warnings every now and then. So keep hip with the chat to know what's going to happen so you can take care of yourself. Self-care tips, as Sam would say. And with that, let's get right back into the session. I thought you said he had more time. I know you're not in control of these things, that you're not a person in the way we understand, and it's not you choosing, but you said... Well, that's not enough. It's not fair. It's not fair I had to go, and now he has to go too. Well, I want him to stay. I wanted him to stay. Just when he was really starting to get there, he... No. I don't care. I'm going to talk to her. Well, because it's her. It's always been her. You're not going to stop me. You can't. Lumira? Listen. Just listen. There is so much I wish I could say to you. So much I wanted to share with you. And I know you didn't get the chance to save me. It's okay. I'm not mad. I was gone before I hit the ground. But maybe you can save him. Right here. Right now. Because it's not his time, Lumi. Not if you don't want it to be. And I don't want this to be it either. So what do you say?
It's not his time.
Lumira, you are the first to see Sayir, his body impaled by an iron stake, the unlife leeching from his chest. He's still here, barely, hanging on, but you know that this wound is fatal. There is no healing art that can staunch this bleeding, no medicine that can undo the cold, hard fact that a lance has cleaved his heart. We find you, standing on the banks of the Inferno River, this red water lapping inches away from the tips of your heeled boots. We pull in on your eyes, which have always been windows to your innermost thoughts, and what do we see?
Pure, unadulterated fear. She's frozen almost in time, it feels like. And it's brief flickering flashes. It's Sayir impaled on the river. It's Sing impaled in the wild sea. And back and forth until she can't tell what's actually happening right now and what happened in the past. It's almost as if it's a cycle of this never-ending hurt, this ending of a journey that she can't handle it being the end of. It is not his. It is not his time. He promised.
I
He
promised.
promised.
I promise. It's not my
Lumira.
time.
We pull out of your eyes and onto Sayir's. Onto those midnight blue irises, those pupils expanding and collapsing like a dying star, that gaze growing hazier and hazier with each passing second. Sayir, doom is here. Doom has been here since the stake went through you and you landed in this river of crimson death. That understanding between the two of you, that ending, that bad ending, and then you see her behind him, and he fades away on the wind, and there is Lumira, stock still and staring at you from the shore, as real as the pain between your lungs. You made her that promise, Sayir. Do you break it now?
In the moments before Doom vanishes, Sayer says, "You're not so bad. You're not so bad." And as his eyes fall on Lumira, beautiful, wonderful, radiant Lumira, he persists. I would like to use my valor beyond death to persist beyond death for a few more heartbeats, a few more painful heartbeats. I'm not breaking my promise. Not now.
Okay. Sayir, valor beyond death, that is a skill of yours, yes?
When you max out your stress tracker or take a level 4 harm, you're not immediately removed from the fight. You may stay and aid your coterie as long as they assist you, or until you push yourself to take one last action.
Okay. Sayir, this vampiric gift of yours, this undead endurance, it can't keep you alive for long, but it does carve open the opportunity, the possibility, the hope that your sister did not have. And Lumira, you recognize what's happening here. Sayir, the bulwark, Sayir, the shield, Sayir, the protector, he is using every ounce of strength left in his body to keep that promise you swore to each other. And then, Lumira, you hear a terrible noise. Behind you, there is a keening, a wailing, a horrific sob tearing out of a shadow. Yinghe is beside themselves, half staggering towards Sayir, half stalling upward on the bank, unable to tear their eyes away from what's happening and unable to look at it either. They are a ghost themselves, torn between confrontation and denial, the pain of their lover's doom so great that their form cannot contain it. And Strike Team Nova, who holds Yinghe in this moment?
Zynon runs to him. He's limping out of that greenhouse, takes in the whole moment. And he also sees that loam of the wild sea, it flying past his face as he struck it with his rifle, trying to kill something that was already gone, trying to save Sing when it was too late. He runs, not to fall to dust like that time, but to be there. And he scoops her up in his arms. Wait.
Yinghe stalls, staggers, their lithe form falling against your arms. Another wail rips from them that is then buried against your chest as they turn their face away from this scene. Push back down the shore toward you, Lumira.
I think Yinghe's scream is what snaps Lumira back, tethers her grounds her into the present. And she whips her head around back to the shoreline where Sinan and Ying-He are. And she looks to Sinan, eyes terrified and glassy, pleading, unsure.
Sinan would never keep Ying-He from Sayer's final moment, but in his mind, in his heart, all he can think is that liminal. That liminal that unmade a man right before him on the wild sea, standing right there, the barren turning to ash before their eyes. If she can unmake someone. Why did fate do this? And he looks back at Lumira, and he wills through his eyes, if ever there was a moment to change your fate, it is now.
And almost as if she hears the words spoken in your head, she looks to Ying-He. And it's, again, that cycle, the wild sea all over again. Except this time, it's the outer body experience of watching Lumira's face transposed onto Ying-He's. Watching one of the people she loves the most vanish right before her eyes. He's giving me more time. She surmises and realizes. And then she runs. Full speed.
Lumira, you see Zionan's resolute expression. That face full of trust and belief, not in anyone else, but you. And you see Ying-He beside themselves, wailing, sobbing, a lover whose heart is on the brink of shattering from grief. And on their face, you see yourself. You see the terror of Zhiling about the emperor she loves so dearly. You see the terror of your own eyes about the chosen one you lost. And when you turn back toward Sayer, and start to rush toward him, there they are, behind him, glitching, a shadow, static, out of focus, a figure you have not laid eyes on since the city of heaven, a figure whose presence here now does not create frustration or confusion, but for the very first time, a resonance, an understanding. What do you know you must do? Lumira Ashinyobi Oshupafiron.
She sees a companion that she didn't realize she missed until right now. The Drifter. And she knows immediately what needs to happen, so she picks up pace, double time, sprinting to Sayer, splashing through the shallow end of the water until she is directly over him, cradling their face in her hands. It's not yet. Not yet.
Mira. He looks at you.
Time.
He looks at you with a smile, and you will have it. And he looks at your eyes a little deeper this time. His pupils are blown out. Did I ever tell you that moonlight looks so beautiful in your eyes?
You don't have to flatter me. And she cradles your head.
I choose you, Lumira. You have... You have all the ability and power. Don't cry. Don't cry, Mira.
But I'm not enough.
No, you're always enough. Don't cry. I'm here. I've always been here. I will always be here. Before, now, always. Take it, Lumira. Whatever you need, whatever I can give you, take it. Everything I am, all that I was, all that I will be, it's always been yours. It's always been yours. Lumira. My Mira. I believe in you. Change it. Show them. And his eyes drift to the vision behind us all. Show them that they can choose.
Lumira hears those last words, and she runs her hand across the top of your head, cradling your head in between her hands, and you feel her nails secure themselves right behind your head at the nape of your neck. She refuses to feel like this again. She refuses to let anyone else feel like this again. Sometimes fate is wrong. And with that realization, she knows exactly what it is that she needs to do. So she tosses her head back, looking up to the sky, almost as on second nature, as if she's looking for something else, another sign, but she realizes now that sign is her. It's this. It's the drifter. So her fangs retract, and she sinks them into Sayur's neck.
Lumira, as your fangs sink into one side of Sayur's neck, the drifter, moving in perfect synchronicity with you, sinks their fangs into the other side of their neck, and the two of you drink. And as you do, you hear the drifter speak to you in that garbled, static, blood-filled voice. This is the only shot you have to get this right. So do it now. And Sayur, as you feel your own dying blood bubble up to the sides of your throat, you almost feel a second set of fangs pierce the other side of your throat. You almost hear a gurgle of static, a whisper of crimson words. And in this moment, Lumira, as Sayur's blood flows into your mouth, down your throat, and into your veins, and Sayur, as you feel your blood being drained out of you and replaced with something else, a kind of cold but also deeply warm resonance, in this moment, doom and time embrace. And the two of you see snatches of the other's past, no, your own past, intertwined in a confusing but also clear mess. You are seeing through each other's eyes. You see yourselves running through a mountainous jungle, feeling joyous and powerful and free, the ocean glimmering on the horizon. You see yourselves place sparring with Sing, laughing and shouting as you wield wooden swords. You see yourselves recovering in the med ward, a big, scary, clinical space pink eyes peeking out from behind white curtains. You see yourselves training your body to the brink, sweating and scowling, wailing on a punching bag twice your size. You see yourselves in the engine room, aboard Storm Chaser, placing your hands on a pulsating mechanical heart. You see yourselves in the Manticro's nest with Zion and Esh, feeling guilty about saying something cruel to yourself. You see yourselves in bed with Drooling, gazing softly into the gentlewoman scholar's eyes. You see yourselves stuffing divine coins into your mouths, feeling hunger gnaw deeper into your stomachs. You see yourselves studying in a library of Inferno University, surrounded by your fellow graduate students. You see yourselves learning new recipes for Anugata. You see yourselves living together, passing each other in the apartment, kissing your cheek, having your cheek kissed, and now, the present. Feeding on, being fed on. Flashes of the past rippling through your bodies, stitched with omens. All the bad things that were, that are, that could be. The fire in the wild sea, eating the garden, spearing through Sing, the hunger. In the city of heaven, Xiao Cheng's eye crunching in Shui Jiang's mouth, the sound of an assassin's blade striking, the endless strife of the fate of Inferno, two houses locked in an unyielding struggle. It's time, Lumira. It's time to do this. You know what has to happen next. As do you, Seir. Instinct drives you in this moment, drives you both. What do you do?
In this beautiful haze that turns to sharpened clarity, feeling two sets of fangs dig deeper and deeper into his neck, drawing out his very essence, Sayer feels it. Something holding you back, Mira. Holding you taut in pain and suffering, and he says to no one in particular, but to everything, release her. Release her. And Sayer's hand goes toward your birthmark in your chest as he feels the red thread holding you in this moment and begins to tug. Release her.
Mira shudders. She feels that tug of war. So she braces herself. The hand that is rotted sits at the base of your chest, right where that rod has impaled itself, and it wraps her hand around the base of the rod. I choose you. And she rips the rebar completely from his chest.
And I you. And Sayer rends the threads from out of your body.
That stake, those threads rip out of each of you simultaneously, both drenched in red. It is the most painful thing either of you have ever experienced, and it is the most liberating thing either of you have ever experienced. In this moment, Lumira, your magic surges back, the dam broken, those threads unleashed, held tight in Sayer's grip. Sayer, you see blood, threads, strings weaving between your fingers, and Lumira, in your hand, you see a blood-red stake wrapped within your palm. What did the two of you do with these two mementos of what was?
I toss it.
I let the river take it.
The stake, the threads, they fall into the Red River, and the current washes both of them away.
Lumira is panting, desperately grasping for breath. She can barely fill her lungs as if her lungs have forgotten what it was like to draw full breaths of air. And she just stares at Sayer.
He stares back.
Wide, full of shock, awe, gratitude, relief. And she cradles your head in her hands. Again, full smile. She kisses you.
And
Mouth
Sayer
covered.
reciprocates.
And you can taste your own blood on her mouth as she
He
kisses
does. In this haze of impulsivity, he stared into your eyes, only seeing moonlight. On a moonless night, all he sees in your eyes is moonlight. Until you press your lips against his, Sayer feels his stabbed, wounded, scarred heart beat again, flutter. And as you hold your hand in his hair, he holds his at the base of your cheek, pressing a gentle thumb over it. As he murmurs your name that he has loved since the day he met you, into the kiss. Mira.
She places her hand over where the rebar was in your chest, placing her right hand on the exit wound on the back. And you feel your skin sinewing back together. Almost as if it was reversing in time previously to when you were not impaled. You did that for her.
He places his other hand over your birthmark, tracing the wound he made in your chest. He has no gift of healing for you, but what he does have is the removal of your ending, the thing that would cage you. And he places his palm against your chest, holding you steady as you unwind time itself, changing our fates. You did that.
And I think as blissed out as she was in that moment, it's almost you see her snap directly back into reality in the present. And her eyes blow wide. She kind of scooches back a bit in fear. I'm sorry.
Lumira, that's when your eyes fall down on Sayer and you notice your own blood-covered hands. Blood-covered hands? Underneath the crimson slick of one of them, something's changing. It's no longer withered and rotted. Before your very eyes, you're seeing a new color come back. How is it transforming before your very eyes as you feel your magic flood back in?
I think it's almost as if her hand, her left hand, where it was withered, it's almost as if the skin itself starts to peel away like a snake sheds its skin. And underneath is the bright, glimmering gold that her left hand has always been. The further she's trekked into her chronology, she watches it slough off into the water, off to meet wherever those strands went, and that rebarb meet whatever major body of river to wash it away. And she's left there, feeling the most whole she's felt since she stepped foot in Inferno. Probably even before.
And as you gaze in marvel and wonder at your left hand, Strike Team Nova, all of you are rather suddenly, rudely, and unceremoniously pulled back into the task at hand as an empty city bus flies through the air, thrown as yet another piece of collateral damage from Rhododendron and Tavash careening directly toward your party. Seir and Lumira, your reaction time is a little too slow in this moment. You're a bit preoccupied by everything that's just transpired between the two of you. So Zynon, you have just seen the impossible become possible. You get to act first. What do you do?
Ooh. Zynon is watching the whole scene, and as they get upright, he starts to sort of drift in that direction, almost unconsciously, kind of with Yinghe. But then this bus interrupts whatever moment would come after, and he is jolted back to the present and feels again the weight of that shield still on his arm. And he knows what he has to do. The thing that he is actually meant to do with his rifle, with every breath that he takes, wield a shield for his family. And he runs forward towards this bus, and with the shield is actually going to try and jump and, like, body it down.
Yes, I love this. Yinghe is going to help you in this moment, as also basking in this moment that came seconds before. We saw shock and then relief and then joy on this Shadow Mage's face, and then the bus comes careening through the air and they snap their attention toward this object of violence. They run forward to help you, Zynon, and as they do, they fall onto their hands and knees, and their claws dig into the dirt where the shadow of the bus passes overhead, and you see them strain against it as they try to slow down the momentum of the bus in this moment. So Zynon, whatever roll you're making here is going to have an extra D6 in the pool, thanks to Yinghe. What skill are you commanding? You are muted.
Zynon is only truly capable of one skill as a vampire, which is the thing that he came into Inferno with the ability and the accoutrement to do, which is to hunt. And so he can't hunt a bus, and so his next attempt is to fight it, like he has fought in bars, in the street, in the fields. Everywhere he can find a place to scrap and fight, he has done so, and he will try and fight a bus.
So which skill is that? Is that hunt?
Skirmish.
Skirmish?
I mean, if you'll take a hunt, great, but I think he's skirmishing.
Skirmish works. Yeah, you're skirmishing against a bus. Love this. Your position is going to be risky. Your effect is going to be, I'm going to give you standard because you have a really cool object helping you in this moment. Go ahead. Roll them bones.
And I'm going to push myself again. So now I am up to hungry.
Okay. Let's not cut dice on this because you're pushing yourself because of the hunger. I think it'll be on the next roll.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Great. Strange. All 5s. 3 5s.
Oh, okay. Love that.
Strange.
Okay.
Odd?
That is odd, but it succeeds. You're gonna get clobbered by the bus a little bit, but you do protect your party is what that means. What does it look like as the shield comes up and you actually succeed in bracing against a fucking bus?
Zynon, he's very slow to embrace magical abilities, and being a vampire is very odd for him in that way, but there's something very intrinsic about being a vampire and the power that it has blessed him with in this place. A blessing of something else, not necessarily fate. And he runs towards this bus with this unnatural strength, the shield out, and instead of trying to step in the way, because he has been hit by vehicles before and he knows better, he jumps on the top of it, and with his shield forward is going to crash down on it, leaping with superhuman agility and shoving it towards the ground.
I love that. Helped by Yinghe, who slows down the momentum of this bus, you leap on top of it, use the shield underneath you as a brace, and we hear a crashing of metal, screaming glass as this bus pummels into the riverbank, is thrown off course away from Lumira and Sayir, and you riding the bus, it slides half in, half out of the shallow end of the Red River. Thankfully, there is nobody in this bus. It seems like it was parked somewhere. So you are gonna just receive a tier 1 kind of battered wound, unless you'd like to resist it.
I'm just gonna take it because Zynon has a new ability. Bloody and Unbowed, taken from an entirely different playbook, where he can just ignore the effects of a level 1 injury.
Oh my god! Okay. Way to say fuck you, Connie. I love that.
Those are my favorite type of abilities. The fuck you, Connie specifically ones.
You
those
threw
are my
a bus at
favorites.
us!
Yeah, well, maybe GMs deserve a little treat too. Okay,
Listen,
so
not today,
Throwing a bus
not
at us
against
was not a
my
little treat.
family.
yes, together you and Yinghe are able to save Strike Team Nova from the devastating consequences of a motherfucking city bus. And as everyone's attention is drawn back to the fight at hand, we see that trail of wreckage the bus left in its path because it flew through an entire copse of trees, knocking down what few fountains remain, ripping vegetation up by the roots, shattering bricks, and we push through this path to find all the way back at the archway, still fighting, completely unaware of what's just happened with Strike Team Nova, Tavash and Ro. Rhododendron. The end is nigh. You can feel it. Both of you can feel it. Your energy is dwindling, but your rage has not abated, will not abate until Tavash Lanius is dead or you are dead trying. These are the final moments of your final fight. Who has the upper hand?
Ro does.
Okay. Tell me where you are.
Underneath that crumbled, broken archway, a joke of a testament to a friendship long gone between their two houses, Ro and Tavash stand looking at each other. Ro's chest is heaving, not because Ray is tired. No, Ray can go for much longer than this. Ro is not tired. They are angry. They are furious. There is this tension, this anger, this betrayal, this heartache that is beating within every single bone, every nerve within Ro's body. Tavash Lanius must die. Because what they said is true. Because what they said is true, and for that, Tavash Lanius must die. Ta made Rem love him. And for that, Tavash Lanius must die. And so Ro, standing there, heaving under this starry night sky, says, You knew that I could not do it alone. And you weren't there. Why? Why didn't you show up?
Tavash, your fearsome Shrike, limping, leaning against their cane, bleeding from wounds just as you are bleeding from yours, spits blood onto the ground, and they look at you, Ro. They really look at you, and you see that same rage mirrored in their crimson eyes. And the Shrike says, I'm showing up now, Ro. We lived together. We died apart. We lived again apart. But now we will die together as we should have. As I promised you.
And that makes it worse. That makes it worse. What, Tavash is fulfilling a promise now? Now? After everything. After everything. And without another word, Ro lunges at Tavash, Lanius, at their precious, beautiful, fearsome, terrible Shrike. Fangs bared. To bleed him dry, to drink him dry.
And Tavash bears their fangs back, claws outstretched as though awaiting your embrace. But then, something happens that neither of you expect. Lumira, the knowledge of time and doom combined swirls within you, the past, the present, the future colliding in omen and prophecy and cycle and memory sings through you. Two memories rising against your mind. Tavash in the Cathedral of the Weeping Saint, wondering out loud if seeing the past might change everything. Rhododendron in the catacombs, mulling on the price of change. You could show them. You could show them everything, as Sayer suggested. How do you show the spider and the shrike what was, what is, and what could be?
Before I answer your question, Connie, I have a question for you.
Please.
Fighting Sayer was exactly my blood type. My blood
Yes.
type is the faithful.
Yes, it is.
So, with that being said, I want to do something a little special. I want to rend the weave around the archways. It's time for a history lesson. And what happens is, I think the wind picks up around Lumira full force as she stands tall and determinedly makes her way toward the arches where Ro and Tavash are still fighting. And she says, "Enough is enough. Those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it." And just as if it's almost like muscle memory kicks in. She hasn't done this in months, but yet she still immediately knows what needs to happen. She fixes her fingers, crafts a liminal around both Ro and Tavash. And just briefly, she holds her hand up and flicks. And she sends the liminal with them both through the archway.
Tavash and Ro, the two of you are shunted through the air as you collide with each other. Some greater force pummels you. Underneath the broken, blasted stone of your ancestors' archway. And as soon as your bodies pass through the threshold, as you're flying through the air, you're no longer here. In fact, you're no longer you. You see, as does Lumira, as does Sayer, as does all of Strike Team Nova, a vision of the past, a vision of an inferno still young. "'Tis but the name that is my enemy. We are not ourselves, we are our houses. What is a house? It is not a hand, not the thirst, not eyes, not a face, not any other part belonging to the undead. Oh, we call it some other name. What's in a name? That which we call Olea. By any other name would smell as sweet, so the houses would were they not named for their grief." The first vampires were born here, on the banks of the Red River. We tell the tale of when the river swelled with rage and wrath and unyielding spite, thick as viscous blood, sweeping away the city at its banks. That red tide claimed many lives, but in some cases, the claim did not take. 2 men awoke in their graves with a terrible thirst and changed the fabric of Inferno forever. One was a man named Luban Lanius. Metal sprang from his hammer in bright sparks. All who gazed upon his work knew that it was good and divine. They called him the Shrike for his mastery over the building of houses, the building of homes. One was a man named Dianthus Drakkar. Fabrics flowed from his loom like rich wine. All who gazed upon his work knew that it was good and divine. They called him the Spider for his mastery over the weaving of threads, the weaving of words. One whose name and legacy were lost to the ravages of time and the cycles of hatred that have not yet descended, but soon shall, was a man named Olea. Olea, the brilliant. Olea the kind. Olea the wise. Olea the mortal, that Dianthus and Luban both loved dearly, with every fiber of their unbeating hearts, a mortal whose love they shared between them freely and openly, a mortal who desired undeath, so that they might share the darkness with both of their lovers forevermore. To commemorate their accomplishments and their friendship, and the love they shared for that man of mortal flesh, Dianthus and Luban constructed a noble archway in the heart of their new city to serve as a threshold for the glimmering river that gifted them their mysterious immortality. And Dianthus and Luban were blessed, in return, with a gift from the river itself. The 2 friends devised a beautiful plan to turn Olea together, under the shadow of their newly built archway. Dianthus leaned in, sinking pale fangs into one side of Olea's throat, and Luban bit down on the other. And together they drank and drank and drank until Olea stopped gasping, and their body grew still. The Spider and the Shrike then cut each other's palms and dribbled their combined blood onto Olea's blue lips. They waited, and they waited, and they waited. But Olea did not rise. They did not seize with a new unlife. His brown eyes did not turn yellow and red. Laughter and gasps did not bubble up from their throat. And as this terrible realization set in, tears of blood welled in the eyes of the Spider and the Shrike, and they turned on each other, blame falling from their lips, accusations of guilt made foul and hard by the weight of their shared grief. Because the truth of what happened here, the tragic truth, was that the gift of the river is never assured. There will always be those who die in the process, and Olea was simply one of those tragic few. But Dianthus could not abide that. It must have been Luban's foul blood that corrupted the ritual, and Luban accused Dianthus of the same, and here, underneath this archway, over the body of their fallen beloved, these 2 survivors of a terrible tragedy turned on each other with fury and fang and blood. The 2 vampires fought fiercely and viciously until the sun rose and all their friendship had turned to ash. There is a sensation like falling. Because yes, Ro, you and Tavash are falling, still collapsing through the threshold of that archway, and now you see the present. 1,000 iterations of the now, of what you came here to do, of the Shrike's death by your hand, of your death by the Shrike's hand. Tivash, staggering backward, their eyes flashing with rage as Ro's fingers spear through his chest. Tivash coughs blood, his glasses fall, but he pulls the hand in deeper, sinking himself through Ro's arm, holding Ro in a tight embrace as his curse awakens, as Ro feels the same pain tear through their heart, seizing through rear soul, taking Rim as well, and the two of them collapse under the shadow of a broken archway.
Ro sees Tivash. Bare Tada fangs, long and sharp like stakes. There is no time for Ro to react before Ray is tackled to the ground. Their yellow eyes meet Tavash's red for only a moment before Ray feels Tivash bite into Rare's chest, Tavash's fangs sinking deep into Ro's flesh, cracking through Rare's ribcage and digging into Rare's heart. Ro's blood, which sits still in their body, trickles out of the wounds, staining Tavash's mouth and neck the same color as Tada eyes. The two vampires, star-crossed lovers, doomed to die together, feel their breath quicken and then slowly dissipate in rhythm with one another as second death takes them both.
Tivash snarls against the broken pillar of the archway as Ro holds them there, arms quaking with the effort, and the early morning rays of the sun land on Tada's face, burning Ta, destroying Ta until Ta crumbles into nothing in Ro's hands. And then Ray start to crumble as well into ash, into mist, into dust.
Ro sees Tivash smile, a saccharine, knowing smile. Ro, infuriated by his arrogance, even in this moment, goes to close the distance between the two of them. But Ro doesn't have the upper hand, and they find themselves held tight against Tivash and then pushed backwards. Still in Tavash's arms, Ro attempts to break free, but is unable to before they feel a sharp branch greet their back and pierce Rare's heart. The branch moves through Rare's body, but does not stop there. Ro feels Tivash push until the branch pierces him as well, impaling them both. The two vampires, star-crossed lovers doomed to die together, feel their breath quicken and then slowly dissipate in rhythm with one another as second death takes them both.
Ro's rapier plunges through Tavash's heart, all bitter metal and cutting blade. Tivash spits blood, grabbing the steel with both hands, looking Ro deep in the eyes as the curse takes effect and blood blooms across Rare's chest.
Ro sees an opening and uses it to attack Tivash, tearing and clawing at them relentlessly. Caught up in rage and anger that will not die until Tivash does, Ro doesn't notice when Tivash pulls out a broken piece of the archway with one hand and stabs him through Rare's back with it. There is only a gasp, a look of surprise before Ro collapses onto Tavash's chest. The two vampires, star-crossed lovers, doomed to die together, feel their breath quicken and then slowly dissipate in rhythm with one another as second death takes them both.
Tivash thrashes in the Red River, gasping and drowning as Ro too is pulled deeper and deeper into the undertow.
Ro sees the night sky as Ray is pinned to the ground and immobilized. They feel Tavash's claws dig into their chest, a makeshift stake to end both their undead lives once and for all.
Tivash falls from a skyscraper, breaking against the ground, and Ro follows behind like an echo.
Ro sees the grass and the ground beneath them as they fall. They hear a break and feel a tugging at their boots before a sharp pain overtakes them. Ro lies in the grass, bleeding out with the heel of their boot stabbed through their heart, a makeshift stake to end both their undead lives once and for all.
Tivash kisses Ro as Tada body seizes with poison and rear body seizes beneath Tada lips.
Ro feels the cold, smooth metal of a fence as they are thrown against it, impaling them.
Tavash crumples beneath a broken pillar of the archway, reaching out for Ro as Ro falls to their knees.
Ro feels the rough, hard edges of the stone as they are thrown against the archway, impaling them.
Tavash is aflame and Ro is aflame.
Ro feels the coarse, jagged bark of a tree as they are thrown against it, impaling them.
There is a sensation like falling. Because yes, Ro, you and Tavash are falling, still collapsing through the threshold of the archway, and now you see the future. 1,000 iterations of what shall be, of what will occur should your destined deaths come to pass. We see Willow kneeling in front of your grave, a noise heaving out of her that you recognize at last. That same terrible sound from the night Aster died. We see Yara in her warehouse alone, all of her instruments destroyed, all of her notes shredded and set aflame. We see Aditi sitting on the roof of a skyscraper, staring at Inferno with empty eyes, a woman shattered in spirit and soul. We see Diablo alone in his shop, head bowed, face cast in shadow, incense lit in front of photos of the both of you. We see Yara at Aditi's feet, dead. We see Aditi at Yara's feet, dead. We see Willow at Aditi's feet, dead. We see Anugata at Yara's feet, dead. We see Toyin at her daughter's feet, dead. We see Tingsing dying by Toyin's hand. We see Diablo dying by Aditi's hand. We see Diablo dying by Willow's hand. We see Diablo dying by Yara's hand. We see Diablo leaving Inferno for good. Over and over and over and over, Aditi and Willow, elders now, locked in the same collision of violence their children were decades ago in the place where this archway used to be. We see Yara and a new Shrike, older and vicious, locked in the same collision of violence their forebears were in the place where the archway used to be. We see hundreds of faces we don't know, eyes and fangs flashing, all of them lunging for each other's throats. But no matter who we see, no matter who kills and who dies, the same thing happens. The cycle breaks you. The conflict never ends. And Rhododendron and Tavash, after Rhododendron and Tavash kill each other, the fate of Inferno is sealed. There is a sensation like falling. Rhododendron, you and Tavash collapse onto the ground, finally, gasping, reeling from this waterfall of memories and what has been and what shall. Both of you saw 1,000 lifetimes, 1,000 omens, 1,000 possibilities flitting through your mind in the fraction of the second that it took to fall through the archway and hit the ground. And you both know, in your heart of hearts, that what Lumira showed you is the truth. It is the truth of the past. It is the truth of the present. It is the truth of what might happen in the future. Rhododendron, how do you reel?
Ro lays on their back in the rubble of the archway, looking up at the stars, still breathing heavily from everything that they had seen. And I think that the only words that pass through Ro's lips are the names of all of the people that would be affected by this. They think and they say, Diablo, Yara, Willow. Slowly, like a mantra, like a prayer, they list off the names one by one after the other.
And Rhododendron, collapsing next to you onto the ground, onto this torn up grass. Tavash, Lanius, similar lips, similar names falling from their lips. Aditi, Diablo. And these two vampires, these star-crossed lovers doomed to die together, the two of you feel your breaths quicken. And breathe out. As second death does not yet take you both. we're gonna end the session there. Thank you all so much for tuning in so far. Woo! I have been your game master and creative director, Connie Chong, pronouns they, he, and she. I'm gonna do a quick round of introductions for all of us. I'm starting with Hamna. Take it away, Hamna.
For a second, I thought you said that you were gonna like introduce us for
I
us,
thought
and I was
that
like,
too.
"Oh,
I was
that's
like,
different." Hello, everyone. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and today I have been Rhododendron Thakrar, who has seen the past, present, and future. Do you know how wild that is for a person? Do you understand?
No.
That's a lot. Anyway, I am a TTRPG performer and producer. If you like what I do, you can follow me all over the internets at Lilith TTRPG, though Blue Sky is the best place to follow me. That's where I'm most active. One thing I do want to plug is through my multimedia production studio, Tender Vicious Studios, we have a new actual play out right now called Lori's House. We just released episode 2 on Thursday, so you have a lot of time to catch up. It's only 2 episodes. Go listen to them. Kai is our GM and C is our dramaturge. So if you like the work of the Chaos Crew, honestly, you'll probably love Lori's House as well. It's a different vibe, but from the same wonderful, amazing, talented folks. So please go check it out. It's gay. It is about timey-wimey shenanigans and memory and imperfect identity. Or what? Imperfect memory, identity, and community. So yeah. My brain is not working, clearly. Val, would you like to take it away from me?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. My name is Valiant Love Wins Dorian. I use he and his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Odds the Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight, I had the distinct pleasure of playing Sayer. Uses he, they pronouns. The boy, the son of doom, who died and lived again. Passing it over to Pop Pop, basher of buses.
Hi everyone, I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns. You can find me all over the internet as a style of Imladris, and it has been my sincere pleasure to bear witness to the gayest shit on earth and also play Mr. Zanin-ish tonight, who uses he, him pronouns. And speaking of, I'm going to pass it on over to the chronologist of Start Team Nova, Sam.
That's right, baby. You heard the chronologist. We're back. It's time for liminals. I'm fucking your shit up. Hi, I'm Sam Star. You can follow me all across the interwebs at Lust for Life X. I played Lumira. What else is there to say? Take us home for the night, boss.
It's a me, boss. Wow, tonight really was love wins and also love loses at the same time for like very different reasons, you know what I mean? So thank you all so much for tuning in to this incredible episode of the Chaos Protocol. Wow, I'm blessed with the best cast ever. If you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, please consider leaving us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We have a lot of reviews on Spotify, which is great, but even if you're a Spotify listener, consider hitting those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, because that's important too. You can also join the Discord server, where we're close to hitting 1,000 members. It's not like a thing we typically advertise, but that would be cool. Or you can post about us on social media. That always helps. This all supports our creator brains when we are on the verge of burnout. It also helps us continue to reach out to sponsors whose money and support helps make this work possible. Before we leave, we are going to be raiding TTRPG GIFs. Wait, they just went offline. Oh no! We're going to be rating someone really cool right now. Our producer's figuring it out. Thanks, C. In the meantime, we're going to be back with another episode of Chaos next week. We are on the trauma train to Finale Town, okay? We've got 3 more episodes left, which means things are about to get bug wild. You thought this episode was wild? Well, you're right. The next few episodes are going to be extra wild, right? Extra wild. Don't hold the wild. So in the meantime, stick around for the actual raid that's about to happen to someone really awesome, no doubt. If you're on the YouTube, I highly recommend hopping over to twitch.tv/transplanerrpg to join us for this raid. And we will see you back here next week. Same time, same place. That is going to be April 19th, April 19th, 8 p.m. US Eastern Time. We love you all and journey well, Transplay Nerds.